Hello, my name is Emily Rose, and I teach tarot readers and the mystically minded to read Lenormand like they're talking to a friend. And today we are here to explore everything that you need to know about the Crossroads card in Lenormand. Let's go ahead and get started. Almost everything you need to know about the Crossroads you can find just by looking at the card. Most of the time, it will depict multiple roads intersecting, usually just two. On most decks, this one has 4 different roads that you could go down here. But as you can see, these roads are all going separate places, right? These are not coalescing together. They are dividing and separating. And with the Crossroads, this is what you get. If you were standing in the center of this card, you would need to make a choice. You would need to decide which road you're going down. And at the same time, if you're standing in the center of the Crossroads with someone else, you would need to decide to go down a path with them, or perhaps to go down a separate path without them. I think the easiest way to understand the Crossroads is just to see it in action with some card combinations, because as you know, with Lenormand, the context means everything and the order is very important. So let's go ahead and just look at some examples using the Crossroads. Okay, let's go ahead and look at some examples with the Crossroads. What we have here is the clover, and then we have the Crossroads modifying the clover here. So what I get from this is that there are multiple opportunities that are potentially divergent from each other. If we had the fish here instead, then what I would say to that is there are a lot of opportunities. There's an abundance of opportunities, and they perhaps don't diverge, right? You can maybe pursue a few of them. What this is saying here is that there are multiple opportunities and they're divergent, right? Kind of what we talked about at the beginning, going back to standing at the center of the Crossroads, you need to pick a way to go. So decisions, there's decisions about this here. And if we were to have another card following that up, this may be that there are multiple opportunities that one could pursue, and then there's a commitment that happens. So there's a decision that's made, there's a commitment that happens, so that the querent would select one of these options, basically. Let's look at another example. This is a question I get asked about all the time. So if we have the Crossroads here, and then we have the scythe modifying it, what I get with this one here is we have decisions, and then the scythe is being swung down. So I see this as a decision is made. This could be like a swift decision, where we had the ring before. This could kind of be securing it. If we're in a relationship context, which we'll talk about, that's a kind of a little bit of a different story. Maybe we're talking about a career context here though. This could be, you know, committing to something, committing to a path. This would be suddenly deciding, right? It's a swift and quick decision. And another question I get asked is, what if we had this reversed? I most commonly see this type of combination in health contexts. This could be like multiple operations, multiple procedures, right? There's more than one that's happening. Another thing I could see this as is there are multiple jolts happening to that person at once, multiple events that are happening in a similar time frame for that person. Okay, let's look at a love context, because I feel like this is where I get the most questions. If we have the Crossroads here, and then we have the heart, so we have the Crossroads modifying the heart, then what I get here is that usually there's multiple love interests happening here. And they're divergent, right? There's multiple pathways here. So this is something that if you're wanting a committed relationship and you ask, you know, about the status of someone's relationship, and you get this, then you can see that there's potentially more than one party involved. Their heart is in multiple places and diverging. Let's look at another example. You could also read the ring the same way, kind of in that context of multiple relationships. Another way you could look at it too is this could be a separation,
because you have there's a relationship which is supposed to be unity and singularity, and then what you have here is separating. So this could be separation. I will say if I'm in a relationship reading and I get something like this, I'm almost always going to pull another card after the Crossroads, because I kind of want to see what happens following that up, or I'm going to ask at minimum a follow-up question to kind of see what happens after the parties split or after they approach these crossroads. What happens then? When I get the crossroads in a reading, I'm almost at the end of the reading, I'm almost always pulling another card. So don't be afraid to pull a clarifying card, pull another card when this card comes up, because sometimes you just need an extra card to kind of see what happens after your querent or your situation approaches the crossroads.
So there you have the Crossroads card in Lenormand. If you would like to learn a little bit more about Lenormand, perhaps kind of find a groove, get in the swing of things, I do have a free 3-lesson mini course that will help boost your Lenormand confidence. And you can find that at emilyrosedivination.com/mini course. And I will also link it down below. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.